Hi everyone, this is Marianne and welcome to my channel. Today in this video I just want to share with you a new kind of notebook that I made recently, and I can make more of this if you want to buy this. This notebook is still the same as all other notebooks that I make under the brand The Unplanned Life. As you can see, the white covers are the same and the gray fabric on the spine is the same, but inside it is a light yellow onion skin paper under the brand called Mica. Now, my camera isn't really picking up the yellow accurately. My apologies for that. But this yellow is not the canary yellow not that super bright yellow that older onion skin papers used to come in. This is also not pale yellow at all, but more of a light yellow that is closer to lemon yellow. It is not golden yellow or Crayola yellow. It is a light yellow that is closer to a lemon yellow. Let me show you some comparisons here with some of the usual colored sticky notes that I am assuming most of you have. From top to bottom, this is the green sticky note, the orange sticky note, and the yellow sticky note, all stuck on a sheet of the yellow mica onion skin for comparison. As you can see, the yellow onion skin paper is softer and lighter than the yellow sticky note, which is almost like neon yellow. I hope you can have a better idea of the color with these comparisons. This notebook is slightly taller than standard A5. It is the width of the A5, which is 148 millimeters, but the height is 215 millimeters. Standard A5 is only 210 millimeters, so there is a 5 millimeter extra height in this notebook compared to the standard A5 notebook. As for the thickness of the notebook, it is about 22 millimeters thick, only very slightly thicker than the Hobonichi Cousin, which is around 19 millimeters thick. However, this notebook can fit inside a Hobonichi Cousin cover. I have here one of the Hobonichi Cousin covers from my own personal collection. This is from the 2021 line, and I purchased this from Dindin Lagdameo, who purchased this directly from the Hobonichi website. I will link Dindin's store in the description box. I do have a video about how I store my Hobonichi Cousin covers and how I track their usage, and I will link it down below. This particular cover has never been used by me. To put this notebook in, you just need to open the front and back covers like so all the way back, and you don't have to worry about the notebook coming apart. The binding of this notebook is very secure. And then just insert the front and back covers of the notebook into the front and back pockets of the Hobonichi Cousin cover and very gently nudge them into place. And as you can see, the notebook fits the cover just fine. This notebook that I have right here has the unique serial number 558, and the end papers of this notebook is the 160 GSM Bovania Splendor Gel White paper, and the covers are made of 3 layers of 200 GSM white cardstock, 3 layers for the front cover and 3 layers for the back cover, and like you have seen earlier, the spine is covered by a gray fabric. And just like all of the other notebooks that I make, the notebook lies flat when opened. And the notebook itself has 720 pages. That's if you count it back to back, which means it has 360 sheets of this very pretty yellow mica onion skin paper. Let me now give you a closer look at the actual paper. This paper, like I said, is the Mica Onion Skin Yellow, and it is the same brand that I use for the white onion skin notebooks that I already make. On the packaging, it says 40 GSM, but I think it is much thinner. Perhaps it is even thinner than the 36 GSM, but I don't have a scientific way to say for sure. However, it works very nicely with fountain pens. Let me show you. This is my Pelikan M400 white tortoise fountain pen, which has an extra fine nib, but it writes like a medium because it is a very wet writer. This pen is inked with Noodler's Zhivago, and in the close-up you can see that the ink does not feather and does not spread, and there is noticeable shading. Shading is when some parts of the ink dry darker than the other parts, which is my favorite feature of fountain pen writing. One of the ways in which I can tell if a paper is fountain pen friendly is not only if it doesn't bleed through the paper, but also if it has shading. And with this paper, there is shading. But because of the thinness of the paper, there is definitely very visible ghosting or show through. The paper is not very even in thickness, or should I say thinness. You can even see some splotches where the fibers of the paper are spread out more thinly than in the other areas. The ink shows through more on those parts. Let us try with another pen. This is the Jinhao 82, which has a fine nib. This is inked with Waringil Queen of Hearts from the Alice in Wonderland collection of Waringil. I swatched that entire set of inks in a video previously, and I will link it down below. In the close-up, you can see shading as well. And because this is a darker ink and a finer nib, there is less shading, but there is shading. There is also very minor feathering, but that is because this is a super close-up. Without the close-up, you will probably not notice the feathering because it's, like I said, it's very minor, it's very faint. But feathering exists with this ink. But with the Zhivago, there is no feathering. And at the back, just like with the Zhivago, some parts show through more than others. And the third pen I'm going to try out with this paper is the Wingsung 698, which has a fine nib and is inked with Diamine Kelly Green. This ink looks so pretty. There is also shading, quite pronounced shading, might I say, but there is also some very tiny amounts of feathering. You can see this in the close-up, but in my opinion, we don't usually look at our notebooks that close. So this amount of feathering, we are not going to notice at all with normal use. At the back, the behavior when it comes to show-through is the same as the other two writing samples. Some parts show through more than others because the fibers on the paper are not evenly spread. So this is how the paper looks when it's a single sheet. You can see the unevenness of the sheet, of the fibers in the sheet. That's how thin the paper is. But when the papers are all stacked together, the yellow sheets look so pretty. And in a notebook, that looks even prettier. Just imagine that all of these pages are already completely filled out with our handwriting, and we can see through each page. I think that is precisely the charm of onion skin paper, that we can see through the current sheet a ghost of what is behind it or underneath it. I really like onion skin a lot, and I like that we can see through the current sheet to have an idea that there is handwriting on the sheet that is underneath. I even have an old blog post about it. Here's a screen grab of the first paragraph of the blog post, but I will link the full blog post down below. And you can also use a writing guide, of course, underneath the sheet that you're writing on. For instance, let me just borrow one of my writing guides that's inside my disc-bound Life notebook right here. I have a video, actually two videos about how I made this notebook, and I will link them down below. And while I am editing this video, I have noticed that the color of the yellow onion skin paper changes with the lighting. This is very interesting. I really like this notebook. I like that it plays very nicely with fountain pens, that it shows shading, and I like that it has 720 pages, or 360 sheets, if that's what you want to consider this notebook as having, since we can only write on one side of the paper after all. And I really like that it can fit inside a Hobonichi cousin cover. Now, there are other manufacturers of covers meant for the standard A5 notebooks, and I cannot vouch if those will fit because, like I said, this notebook is 5 millimeters taller than the standard A5. But I can certainly vouch for this notebook being able to fit inside a Hobonichi cousin cover. I'm going to make another one of this for myself. I really, really like it and I want to have one. And that is my video for you today. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Bye.